Niner faithful, ride with me. Red and gold, blooded to the day I die. Reppin' Niner gang and it's all I bleed. Racking up dubs in my Levi jeans. And we run over the league with our whole team. Be that number one seed cause we ballin'. Putting in that work early in the morning. Super Bowl team and now these haters salty. Rockin' Zenny shades to the championship shift. That Nick Bosa drop him hard like a hit stick. The Jimmy Ward intercept him with a big six. Like Debo, we gon' knock him like a brick. The Trey Lance play action to a drop back. When the blitz coming quick, the old line gon' block that. RPO with Kyle Hughes, Juice. Mitchell and George Kittle, can't nobody stop that. Stand behind Kyle Shanny all the way. It's like a game of chess when he call to play. Brendan Ayuk on the slanter fade.
Hey everyone, welcome to IE Sports Radio. Those videos are courtesy of NFL.com. I am Niners Jess, along with Ty Alston, Maddie B, and your girl Bex. We are the East Coast Red and Gold. What's up, Faithful?
Hey.
What's going on, people?
Is there anything that brings like more serotonin and endorphins of happiness than watching that last set of downs, that last play that Dallas had where Zeke got trucked, the receiver got trucked, and once again, Dak is just standing around looking like, what happened? Our season's over?
What?
Is it over? Is that the last
What's
play?
going on?
Is that it? What happened? There's no flag?
I actually liked Lenore's pick because when he went up for it up in the air, it almost is Dwight Clark-like.
It was that high, long reaching stretch.
Yep.
Yes.
So that
reminded
was pretty
me
cool.
of that training camp that year where they were training up Ronnie Lott and those guys, and George Seifert would throw the ball up as high as he could possibly throw it.
Yeah.
And they'd have to go up and get it, and have to go up and get it, and have to go up and get it. It was the same ball of wax, which was great on George Seifert's birthday. So, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yes. All right. Well, this week we had an awesome opportunity to sit down with our guest for tonight's show, 49ers team photographer Kim Fortino. And we discussed all things 49ers and, of course, sneakers. So let's see what Kim had to say. Hey, Kim, welcome, and thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for the invite.
So we have a bit to talk about today, your career and, of course, the upcoming NFC Championship game.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about your career, how you got started, and now your time with the 49ers.
Oh, man. I have a little bit of an unorthodox journey to being a photographer in the NFL, specifically the Niners. I did not go to college and get a degree in photojournalism or any of those, but I've always had a camera in my hand since I was a kid. I was always the one in the family that had the little disposable. So that passion for photography has always been there. Grew up an athlete. Then I had kids that were athletes. My son played football. Initially, like the little caveat in my story is I thought I wanted to be a sideline reporter, but I don't like to be in front of the camera. So, the universe did its thing, and my son was playing football, and I, ended up getting a camera and kind of, hobby-ish started taking pictures of him. And then I had a friend at work that kind of, I showed him some pictures, and one day he was like, you really got something. And that was it. I mean, I believed him because he was already a photographer, and I was like, really? So then I put more of an effort into it. And then, also fun fact, I used to work for Charles Haley back in the 90s. Oh. So yeah, I've been around the 49ers and football a long time. So my thought was I'm going to reach out to Eric Davis, because I had met him through Charles in the 90s. And I was just going to ask him, can you introduce me to the team's photographer? And I went online. I looked up 49ers team photographer. I saw the name. I wrote it down on a sticky note. Didn't think anything of it. Probably a month or so later, I'm in a camera store, and the guy behind me is talking about sports photography. So I'm ear hustling. And he tells the guy, oh, let me give you my card. And I typically never side bust a conversation. But I turned around and I said, oh, I think I need it too. Super corny. And he hands me the card. He hands me the card, and it was the name I had written on the yellow sticky note.
Oh, it was meant to be.
Wow. Yes,
And
definitely.
so back then on the website, it didn't say what he looked like. I had no idea. I just knew the name. And it was his name. And I did not tell him that at the time. He knows the story well. But at the time, I was just like, oh my God, that is so crazy. We ended up exchanging information. He was so great to me, told me how, how he got involved. I went to a seminar. And then I took how he did it, and I basically used that blueprint, and I started shooting for a local newspaper. And then I kind of hustled my way onto the field because I applied for credentials. And I got to work with so Terrell Lloyd, everybody knows T. I got to work around him for a couple years, so not under him or with him, but around him. And we talked a lot, and he saw my work ethic, had a position open up, offered it to me, and now I'm in year 16.
Amazing.
Wow. What's it like working for Charles Haley?
Oh my God. The fact that you're asking that question means the man is crazy. He is so crazy.
Yep. It's story time.
Oh man, as an athlete and as a boss man, I guess. But he, he was really good to me. The family always took care of me. They took me to the Super Bowls, and it was my first real job being around like the football world, which it's changed so much. It's so funny to me as we went through NFC championships then and playoff runs and Super Bowl, like it's so different because now these players are so accessible. And they were not back then.
Yeah.
But
Oh, that's interesting. I would have thought they would have been more accessible because it feels like they're very timed and it's deliberate when they're coming out to the podium and things like that. So it feels like it should have been the opposite.
I guess so. Let me clarify: more accessible in public.
Okay.
Because people, the players are posting where they're at. They, geotag stuff. Everybody's got a cam. Before, like I literally don't recall a time being in public with Charles and his family and people stopping to take pictures.
Oh wow!
They just wanted autographs because they didn't have camera phones.
Yeah, everyone didn't have a camera back then. You're right.
So it was just autographs, so not as, much in your face, but still.
Yeah.
So Kim, did you work for Charles while he was part of the Cowboys too?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, really?
I know. It was
little
the
hesitant
transition
there.
years. It was the transition years from Niners to Cowboys. Went to the 93, 94 Super Bowls with the Cowboys. Yeah.
I was just curious because I know he was at the game this weekend. So, it felt like, I guess everybody he's neutral. He
was very neutral. Yeah. Both organizations are great to him. I did his Hall of Fame when he got inducted into the Hall of Fame, and it was very much Cowboys and Raiders. Oh my gosh, Cowboys and Niners. I know.
You're gonna get in trouble with the fan base.
I don't know where that came from, but yeah, it was love from everybody. So he's very, very respected as a player in both organizations.
That's really cool. So in the years you've been covering the team, what is your favorite memory?
Oh man, that is so hard. Honestly, probably our first, the 2012 year. 11 was pretty special because Harbaugh first year, it was a lockout year. We, Alex Smith's like it just so many things were unknown because of the lockout year. Harbaugh didn't get to work with the players, so we're like, oh man, here goes another. What were we 4-12 the
Yep.
year before? Yeah,
Mhm.
so no expectation, just didn't know, and that's very unsettling. And then so that happened. We took the league by surprise. But the 2012 year when we knew we had something,
Hmm.
and then the playoff run, the Saints came, and that, I mean, just Candlestick, and oh man, those were that was probably the most memorable because it was my first Super Bowl run, I guess, with them.
Hmm.
Cool. Is there a favorite picture that you've taken? A one that you might be a wall hanger in your house that you just absolutely love?
Wall hangers. I mean, it should be like screensavers now. Do people even
Yeah.
print pictures anymore? Um, so a previous one that I used. Oh gosh, You know what? I'm not gonna say that one because it's gonna bring up bad memories. A more. Yeah, I'm not. I'm gonna save the comments underneath the posting. A current one is the George Kittle tiptoeing the sideline.
Ah,
Was that last year? It was, right?
It was in
against
Seattle,
Seattle.
right? Yeah, in
In
Yeah.
Seattle.
Seattle, yep.
That one, yeah.
Yeah, and that one specifically because I don't normally stand on the line, of the out of bounds line, whatever it's called.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I'm usually more inside, closer to the goalpost. So when
Uh-huh.
he hit that line, I was right in front of him,
Wow.
and it was just not a normal spot for me, and I was there, and I panicked a little bit because he ran a lot of yards, and so the camera that I was shooting with has an extender, and
Ah.
so I was extended, and then I had to change it, and then he ran all the way into. So I have from a full frame, him being in frame, to probably just his head at the very end because he got that close.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That's fun.
So how many different cameras like do you use on game day? And also following up with that, like, your a favorite player to photograph.
Well,
Um,
there's cameras and then there's lenses, and I was going to ask you that too. Like, what's your gear like?
yeah, I'm a two camera girl.
Okay.
I'm a two camera girl, and I'm um pretty situated. All see, I'm a 70 to 200 is hanging off my shoulder, for any like red zone stuff, and
Mhm.
Hmm.
then the 2 to 400, which also has the extender, that takes it out to 640, I think. Um, T runs with like 5 or 6 cameras. I don't know how. The man is a
Wow.
magician.
Yeah.
I will look at his photos sometimes, and I'm like, it's the same play from 2 different cameras.
How do you do that? Wow.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
Yeah.
he's a
impressive.
unicorn. He's a unicorn. I aspire. No, I don't even aspire. I'm gonna let him carry those 6 cameras
Yeah,
for
yeah,
life.
yeah. Let him do
He can
him.
carry his water.
You're
Yeah,
good. I've
yeah.
seen
I
that George Kittle sideline photo. You're good.
thank you. I don't need that many cameras. I'm good with
Yeah.
2. But pre-game, post-game, I go with a wide angle 16 to 35 to do all the jersey swaps and the
Hmm.
players that want to take pictures with their friends from growing up or college.
Hmm.
Gotcha.
So Kim, are you
Favorite
Team
players.
Canyon? Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
did what?
Oh, I would go ahead. I thought you were done.
Oh, that's a very unfair question.
Yeah. Favorite photo. Yeah.
Oh man, there's some good ones. I really enjoy shooting Fred because I've been shooting a certain style of Fred since he was a rookie, and he really has a very intense expression on his face.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10,
Mhm.
he a lot of guys, sometimes when they see the camera, they'll break out of maybe that serious look or whatever, and they play, they'll smile or make faces or whatever at the camera. That's all cool and everything, but I actually prefer them to act like I'm not there,
Right.
like Fred does.
Get the
Because
candid
I
photos.
really, yes. That's really my favorite. Talanoa is great. What camera does not love him? Show me one, because it's just, yeah, he's just great for the camera. But I do appreciate when they act. Fred says he sees me all the time. I try to catch him off guard, but he's like, I see it. So
He's like,
I
I
don't
gotta
know.
look, gotta give you the mean mug.
He hears the footsteps.
Yeah, I don't know. I try to be real. I try to be real quiet. But yeah, those two are pretty high on the list.
So all those like headshots type photos of Fred,
Yep.
and he just staring off with that look. That's you?
Um, a number of them, but T
Okay.
probably takes those too. Yeah, but those are definitely my little staple shots that I try to get of him every week.
T's just copying off of you. Let's tell the truth. Tell the truth. The student has
Oh,
become the master. Tell the truth.
I do have to, you know what? I got to give a shout out to Jimmy Ward. He also is a very, very good picture taker.
Okay.
Maybe not picture
Nice.
taker, a very good person to take pictures of. He's really good with camera.
So Kim, speaking of Huff, I understand that you're the reason why he hands out the necklaces. Can you tell us about how that conversation came about?
Yeah. So the victory chain started in 2019. I had gotten a chain in New Orleans, and with no intentions of anything, a very organic moment during that game, because as you guys remember, it was amazing, and Raheem had a great game, and I don't know, after the game I just gave it to him, and it just started something. And so I went on this frantic hunt for more chains, and gave one to the player of the game, all the way up into the Super Bowl. And then that kind of died off. We had COVID, and then the team store put millions of them with the big logo. And so, it kind of took on a life of its own. And I just said, okay, that's cool. And then, with Huff, I brought it up to him, and I just said, I'm thinking about doing the kukui nut lays, because what I've seen that Huff has done is he brought culture and the community, and he's really infused it. He's not the first Polynesian player we've had, obviously. Right. But what I've seen him do with all of the players is completely different. They all throw up the tees with him.
Yep.
And there's just a brotherhood, and obviously the Polynesian Islands and Hawaii represent community and love and brotherhood and protection. And so he was like, yeah, let's do it. So I wear it, and then right after the game we look at each other and we're like, who do you think? And then we pick whoever it is. And it's been tough. It's been really tough, because man, these guys are making plays. And a lot of times there's multiple guys that are deserving, but we just go with instinctively who it might be. And the funny thing is, the first game I wore it, Huff got it. And it wasn't because and it wasn't because I think he definitely had a pick six that game.
I was going to say it was probably the pick six game, right?
Yeah. Yep. So it just kind of naturally evolved into what it is. And I love that. I don't, you never want to force anything. You just want things to feel natural, and people to understand what it represents, and bring people together, because that's really what this is about.
Has there ever been a player
podium, right, with them on? So the players must love it too. Getting
yeah.
I'm sorry,
Hey,
Ty.
no, I was that was a great question, and I was going to ask, has there ever been a time where a player didn't get one, and they're like, "Hey, Kim, what happened? I was out there making plays. Why didn't I get a chance?"
Oh man, no, no,
Okay,
and don't don't encourage that, because I promise you,
Watch
I
now,
will
it's gonna
come.
happen.
Listen, I will come with 65. I will come with 65 lays on Super Bowl day if that happens. So don't tempt me.
She's gonna be like, "Damn that East Coast Run and Go
I know
podcast."
it's all their fault.
See what
Exactly.
you started, Ty?
I
That's
know.
when Kim will be like, Kim will say, "Blame Huff. He chose, not me."
Exactly. I'm saying put it on his tab.
Yep.
But the funny thing is I see them all in the stands now, and I love that. I
Yeah,
just
it's
it
taking on a world of its own. Like,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yep. And I love like all the flags, the Tongan flags that are out there, and it's
Hmm.
just it's really cool.
Yeah.
That is
I like how
amazing.
he also has like his own handshake with
He
with
does.
pretty much with each player. Like it's
Everyone.
amazing how you could
Yeah.
remember
Yeah,
that.
it's impressive.
Yeah. So what
All
goes
right.
into a week of prep, Kim, when you're getting ready for a game, and then contrast that with the playoffs? Is there a difference in what you do going into a regular season game to get ready for a game, or the week, in between? What does all of that look like for you?
In season, it's still pretty it's a pretty busy week because we do like a lot of the community stuff, and then just finishing out edits and stuff for the week. So now that we're in playoffs, there's no more community events. That was done
Hmm.
last week. It's kind of a dead week a little bit for us this week. We will have a production meeting just to review, talk about where we're going to be and what we're looking for and what we're going to cover post game. Another fun fact,
Mhm.
in 2000, was it 11? I think it was 11. It must have been the first time we made playoffs. And we didn't think about where we were going to be and what we were going to cover, players running off the field, the
Ah,
celebration. So yeah, you know, unfortunately we kind of weren't prepared for it because nobody had been, not
yeah.
myself, not T, not our other photographer,
Right.
none of
It had
us.
been a while since then. Yeah.
Yeah, it was,
So
yeah. And it was,
did you just wing it? What happened?
we did, I think, I think I walked around the sidelines kind of with my head in a cloud.
Wow.
Like, what just happened?
Fun.
So now, yeah, now we have, more intentional plans as the clock ticks, starts ticking down that 2 minutes. Where are we
Hmm.
at? Who's here? Who's there? We get, we offload some of the gear if we can because we're running out onto the field, changing out lenses if we need to. There's definitely more preparation involved.
Gotcha. Hey, Kip, so speaking of preparation, you just talked about running out on the field and changing lenses. I'm one of those people that I like to look at what's going on off the field, behind
Hmm.
the scenes. I'm always checking out the camera crews, the
Love
interviewers,
that.
everybody. And you photographers, like, it's physically demanding. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about because I've seen, you're on one knee, you're laying on the ground sometimes, you're hopping up on things trying to get a photo. How physically demanding is it for you out there?
It's a lot. I mean, I think I averaged like 25,000 steps on game day.
Wow.
And
Imagine.
that's with the gear.
That's with gear. Yeah.
That's with gear. Again, shout out to my parents for the short jeans because I don't have to kneel.
That's right. I don't want to say your height. I know what it is, but yeah.
Yeah. So I don't physically have to kneel. Yes, T's knees take a beating. Mine do not. Um,
There's an advantage. Gotcha.
that's right. but yeah, no, it does get pretty taxing. I mean, I get work done regularly throughout the season because I weight load on the right side, so I get like
Mhm.
that weird lower back tweak.
Uh-huh.
My my shoulders and wrists, they take a
Man.
beating. But I have to tell you, during the pandemic, when I had to do all of that, walking the stairs in the stadium,
Hmm.
I will take ground level 25,000 steps any day.
That's right.
That was rough. And because there's some stadiums, which things I never thought about or ever had to care about, was some stadiums, if you're in the stands, don't go all the way around. You have to go up and over and up and over and down and then
That's
up
right.
and then over and down. Holy
Mm.
moly.
Yeah, it's a trek. Yeah.
So I guess
My
that
my
helps as
legs,
far as your exercise routine, because I
it
see you
definitely
jump
does.
roping and
Yeah.
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 Well, that's why I do it, because I got to be ready for game day.
So what got you into the jump roping? Because it's not just like casual jump roping that you do.
No.
You've got some mad skills there with the jump rope.
Oh yeah, I'm a little OD on that. Boxing. I know. You know what? And I don't do anything right. It's really the music that I'm listening to, and I jump rope to that. I probably look
Mm.
like a maniac to the people in the gym,
It's impressive.
Yeah.
but I don't care. Yeah, I started boxing, and obviously, boxing and jump roping goes hand in hand. So I
Hmm.
got addicted to the jump roping a little bit.
Very cool. Because
What's the song that gets you going?
Oh man. Oh gosh.
That's a good question, because that was one of mine. She's got like one of the best playlists ever for everything. The
yes,
songs are always
definitely.
Yeah, I do have pretty good playlists. But I had to say the songs pick me. The songs pick me. I
Uh-huh.
don't normally pick
Okay.
them. So I'll have to. I don't know. I can't think of any off top.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So I know you like your Nike sneakers.
That's right. We know you're a
I do.
sneakerhead. A little birdie told us.
Yep.
So I got a little
So-
game for you. Yeah. We have a little game for you.
Okay.
We're gonna play start 'em, cut 'em, or bench 'em, sneaker edition.
Oh heck yeah.
Right,
Let's
right.
go.
She's pumped. I like it.
All right.
All right. All right. So we're going to go with some Jordans here, and I'm going to add this on. So start, bench, or cut the Jordan 1s, the Jordan 4s, or the Jordan 11s.
Wait, I gotta say start each one.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
one
Okay.
you're going to start? Which one you're
which
going to
one would be
bench?
your starter sneaker?
Oh.
Which one is your bench sneaker, and which one would you just cut out completely?
Oh man, this is good. Oh. Okay. Gotta start the breads. I'll come off the bench with the ones. The 4s gotta go because they don't even make them with air in my size. So the 4s gotta go.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Wow.
Well, get on that, Jordan.
Wow.
Matter of fact,
size.
sign me. I need a contract. Sign me.
That's right.
I remember because you had the Nike Dunks, and I remember asking you about them, and I'm like, oh, what size? And you're like, very small. And I was like, okay, got it.
Yeah, I'm a 2, and it's funny because people go 2 in women's. I'm like, no, like a 2 preschool. Like when you look them up on Nike, it's preschool. I'm not even big kids. I'm preschool,
Wow.
little kids.
Oh my goodness. Good.
But
Wow.
they're $85.
There's
Yeah.
still a little expensive.
No
Hey,
kidding.
they're not 185.
Exactly.
That's
There's
true.
benefits. There's benefits for
I-
wearing that preschool too.
That's right. And guess what? I don't have to wait and hope that I get them in on, the websites.
Oh yeah,
That's probably
See?
true too,
because
right?
the struggle is real to get a pair of
It,
sneakers. Whew.
yep.
It is. I had that struggle with the black and white dunks that came out on the 19th. I didn't get them, but I got them
The
in the
Yeah,
highs.
pandas.
So
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Mm-mm.
was a little upset about that. Um,
I believe it.
moving on to the NFC Championship game. I know you expect to win, as do all of us here. Um, what do you see from just, even like a fan from like as far as the game? Like what are your expectations?
Trenches. It's going to be a battle of the trenches. The game is going to be won in the trenches.
Mm,
We got to get after. We got to get after. What's his name? Jalen Hurts.
Jalen,
Jalen
Yeah,
Hurts.
Yeah, we got to get after him.
I'm with you there.
I agree.
yeah, I agree.
And I know people like to be like, we're a second quarter team. No, we're gonna be a first quarter, second quarter. I mean, second half.
That's
We're
right.
gonna be first half, second
Hmm.
half, third half. However many halves we out there, we got to be all them halves,
That's what I'm talking about.
You got to be in
Yeah.
all
Yes,
the halves. Yes.
absolutely. I
all of
agree with
them.
that. Yeah, I agree
No
with that
plays off. Yeah,
100%.
yeah.
And what are your what are your thoughts from this past game, the game against the Cowboys?
My thoughts on the Cowboys. Is this
Not trying to put you
PG?
on the spot or
No,
anything.
is this PG? No, I'm just kidding. Um,
Kim goes back a ways, so she remembers the rivalry. She
Hmm.
knows
yeah,
it's a rivalry.
yeah. What's a rivalry? Yeah. Gosh, there's so many things. Like I, they had a good game plan against us. That was
Hmm.
I never like I didn't have anxiety. Like I never felt I didn't panic, but I felt like we had to, obviously come out in the second half and make some adjustments, and I think we did. Um, Cause some turnovers, which was huge. And a lot of times, once we get that momentum, obviously the George Kittle catch was huge too. But
Yeah.
once we catch momentum, like we're hard to stop.
Yep. I agree.
And
I'm
last
very
one.
much a punch 'em in the mouth first
Hmm.
mentality.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, right away.
Yep.
As soon as the bell rings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Score and
Yeah.
don't look back.
Yep.
Yep.
Start fast and keep going. Last one for me, Kim. Kyle Shanahan. Is it easy to take his picture? Just talk a little bit about that.
Um, Kyle's such an easygoing dude. I think for with anybody in his position, whether it's Kyle or John or um, I, I operate as a professional and I get in and I get out.
Hmm.
I shoot from a little bit of a further distance. I don't really get up close to them with my 16 to 35. I'll use my 7200 and just kind of I don't want to invade their personal space. They're
Hmm.
out there to do a job, even if it's, practice or maybe something a little bit lighter. I always just want to give them the respect of not invading their time and space. So I
Hmm.
get what I need and then I move on. So, but he always makes it feel very comfortable. He acknowledges everybody. Um, so it does make it easy.
All right,
Well,
cool.
that's really nice.
Cool.
So Kim,
Anybody else?
yeah, I
Yeah.
have a couple more. A bit about outside of football. Do you have? I know you do some photography outside of football too. Is there any particular moment or thing that you photograph outside of football that you enjoy or you've captured that's really something special for you?
Actually, I part of um, well, I'll give you answer for both. So, still related to football, I get an opportunity to do a lot of family stuff. So, when players' family, especially when families come, don't actually move out to California,
Mhm.
and the wife and kids come, I get to photograph them and create these moments for them. Right, this is a
Oh,
piece of
nice.
their journey. So sometimes we've gone to San Francisco, monumental places around the Bay Area that kind of capture.
Hmm.
Um, this time in their lives for them,
Mhm.
maternity stuff, proposals, whatever. So that's pretty meaningful to me. Completely outside of football, I do other sports with T at San Jose State. So I love shooting sports, period. And then outside of sports, the family stuff. I love kids.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I see the
All right.
pictures of your daughter. The pictures that you post of her, always so cute.
Yeah, thank you. I do have a very strong desire to do home birth photography.
Hmm.
I'm not sure when I'm going to fit that in my world, but that's
Yeah.
definitely on my list.
Well, that's emotional and that's very intimate, and I can see how someone would want that captured, but also in a very private,
Yeah.
a private way that it takes someone who's going to really capture, I think, the essence of and the beauty of those moments, and that's I could see why that would be an attractive thing because
Yeah,
it's a highly emotional moment for someone.
yeah. It's low light, it's available light, low light
Yeah,
setting. It's nothing posed. It's being a fly,
Hmm.
being
yeah,
not even being there, but being there.
Yeah.
authentic
Yeah,
in
it's
so many ways. Yeah.
so many things that and that's why even in my photography on the field, like I really do try to capture them, the essence of
Hmm.
them, not necessarily, the stuff that you kind of see everywhere. Like it's a little
Mhm.
deeper for me. Like I want to connect.
Oh, I love that. And then I want to make sure that people know you're a 10-year cancer survivor. What's that journey been like, and how did that work out for you? Still working through that whole process, and how football impacted that at all, or if it did.
Yeah, I mean, once you have gone through it, you're impacted by it for the rest of your life. Um, but I luckily had a great cancer team, oncology team that worked with me. I was diagnosed right before the 2013 season started. And I was like, wait a minute. I have football coming up. So I got chemo on Mondays. We played on Sunday. I worked it through my schedule. The team was so great to me, and really provided a lot to me working. I would be out on the field and it was a distraction, the same way that we work with the Make-A-Wish kids. It's a
Hmm.
distraction for them. It was a distraction for me. It gave me strength. It gave me courage to keep fighting. I would come to a game, and coaches and players, just they knew what I was going through, and they just motivated me every day. And I'm really thankful to have been um, to been I guess welcomed, but cheered on the way that they did. They stood behind me. T was great, and that really just empowered me throughout the whole. I was I had 7 months of treatment, and then went into remission in March.
Amazing. That's
Awesome.
beautiful,
Incredible
really.
story.
But also, Johnny Holland obviously is battling cancer. He's been battling for 3 years. So when he was diagnosed, I immediately went into that, supportive role for him. And we had become very close through the process. And then, like I said, with the Make-A-Wish kids, the Niners bring out somebody for all the home games.
Hmm.
And I get to photograph them and the experience that they get to have through the 49ers on at a they come on Saturday. Well, if we play on Sunday, they come Saturday, and
Right.
they go to practice and they break down the huddle.
Mm.
And I was doing that before I was diagnosed. So then I was diagnosed and went through it, and then so now I'm on the other side of the tracks, and it allows
Right.
me to have a different connection with them, and I
Hmm.
see it through their eyes. And I just, it sucks, but I always feel like, God didn't, I didn't go through this for nothing. And so
Right.
I'm using my experience to help others.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure just knowing you being able to share that gives them some, a vision of hope. Here you still stand and you've made it through, and I can see that being a really positive experience for the kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, my last one is What's your favorite ceviche or poke spot in and around the stadium? Where do we go for the good stuff?
My signature what? Poke?
Ceviche or poke spot by Lehigh
Oh
Stadium. Where's the
gosh.
good spot?
Wow.
We like
Oh
food.
man, I
We want to
no.
eat.
Oh, see, and I do not.
Really?
I eat to survive. So holy you know what? I'm just gonna plug Puesto for some tacos, which is not what either of those things are, but Puesto for some tacos and a margarita.
Ooh,
we
Yeah,
go.
yes,
those work with
margaritas.
us.
Yes,
Oh gosh.
we definitely like to drink.
What?
What?
Right, right. Well,
Kim,
hopefully
we lead the league in hydration here, just to let you know.
Yes.
I'm right behind you. Hydration is key.
Exactly.
Yes, it definitely is key. Kim, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
We
you,
really
Kim.
Thanks for
appreciate your
having me.
time.
That was so fun.
Yeah, glad you had a great time. And we look forward to talking to you down the road, and go Niners.
Go
I guess we'll
Niners.
see you in Philly,
Absolutely.
right?
You know where to find me. What did you say?
I said we'll see you in Philly, right?
I was just going to ask that. Will you guys all be there?
Hoping to.
Definitely
Okay.
coming for at
Trying.
least the pregame stuff. Still working on tickets, but
Yep.
we'll be
Yeah,
around.
Okay. What
the
about
tickets are very, very expensive right now. So
yeah, Mucho Dolores. I learned that in Mexico. Mucho.
Yes.
Or yeah, did I say that right? What about the invasion? Will you guys be there?
that I'm not
Yes,
sure.
have they publicized the invasion?
I've been looking out
Um,
for it. I haven't seen it yet, but
I
I would
have not
love to
seen
go.
The
anything.
short answer is yes when you publicize it.
Perfect. I would love to see you guys there. Thank you
All
so
right.
much for having me.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for your time.
All right. Talk to you guys soon.
All
Thanks.
right,
Go
take care.
Niners.
Go Niners. All
And we're
right.
back.
Awesome. That was Kim Fortino, 49ers team photographer. Great stuff from her. One of the things she said, as far as so many people refer to us as a second half team. Do you guys agree with that? Go ahead, Becca.
I mean, of late, yes, we have managed to make adjustments in the Brock Purdy era that we never could do with Garoppolo or anyone, any time before that. It seems like even Colin Kaepernick couldn't adjust in the second half. We had struggles in many, many years adjusting. So I do see that we come out with a plan and we do some things, and it doesn't always work. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But whatever adjustments we need to make, we've found our groove thing, and we've been able to do that as of late. So yes, I see us being able to come out of a tight game with Seattle, with Dallas, and then come out and really step on the gas and find our way forward and win the games that we used to lose. So yeah, I mean, I see why people are saying that. Absolutely.
Yeah, I
ahead,
just
Ty.
think the execution has been better in the second half versus the first half. It's been so much tighter, and guys are just out there making plays instead of shooting themselves in the foot like we do. So I think that's the biggest thing.
Maddie.
I read an article this week where they talked about how a lot of the stuff that Kyle is doing is because they want to see how they react in the second half.
That was going to be my
Um,
answer.
I'm seeing a lot of that from this team. And if you're noticing, it seems like they really have a strategic plan to come in from the first part of the game. It's not just we're going to go with 15 plays and then see how it rolls. Like they're actually like coming in with a strategic game plan for the first half and to set it up for the second half. So I think that's really what it boils down to in this case. But it's definitely a bigger trend and a better trend than it's been over previous years, which is we better get the lead early or we'll probably pull it out of our butts late, but we're going to make it way closer than we need to, right?
Or we watched the ship sink. Like, how many years did we go run up a lead in the first half and then only to sit and just watch it the ships start to list and take on water, and then ultimately the Titanic sinks because we cannot hold it together in the second half.
Yeah.
How many years of that did we watch? I mean, at least now when we come out in the second half, we are holding our own. We are standing up, or we're taking command and we're closing it. We've not been a good closer until the last couple of seasons. Really, it's been hard to watch. You're just like, here comes, put the blinders on and peek out the side because it's going to be tragic watching us.
Yeah.
And we were
get out or barely win or lose by a last minute field goal or something.
and we were never really the greatest team at adjustments either.
Yeah.
When Robert Saleh was with us, he, my opinion, he wasn't very good at making halftime adjustments or in-game adjustments for that matter. But this year, it just seems that come halftime, we're making those adjustments, and then we're coming out guns blazing for the second half. Although I would like us to start fast in the first half and keep cruising. I know sometimes that's we can't do that. But I just want to say hi to a couple of people in the chat. Rob, Melissa, Steve-O, Bryant, Taryn, Celts Chronicles. Yee!
What up, Celts?
My
My people.
G-Tech. What's up, everybody? Thanks for your support. Maddie, so what did you think of the first half of the Dallas game? I mean,
it was
there.
Gross. It was kind of like one of those deals where you're like, it's two heavyweight fighters and they're kind of punching at the beginning, right? Or like Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan with a test of strength. Like, to me, that's really what it was. They were just kind of feeling each other out. They really weren't sure what was going to happen. To me, the entire momentum change when that extra point was blocked, because then the Cowboys were right back in their head again. Like, oh man, this kicker's got the yips again. We're in trouble. Like, to me, that just changed. It's like, oh, same old Cowboys, right? That's exactly what it felt like. And from that point on, like, the game was close. It was a lot closer than it needed to be. But I kind of figured they'd pull out away in the second half. And they pulled away in the second half. And Dak did things that he really didn't need to do. And it kind of really stuck to the script. Like, they just – that's what I thought in the first half. Like, I really just thought it was they're feeling each other out. Jab, 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 jab. Like, it was a 12-round fight, and it really didn't pick up until about the 7th round.
I was nervous, just like I was against Seattle. Like that first half, it was kind of like touch and go there. But yeah, it's they really turned it on in the second half. Ty, what about you?
Yeah, I think in the first half it was kind of like that heavyweight boxer feel. Both teams jabbing and doing some things. I also feel we just shot ourselves in the foot a lot, particularly up front. The O-line, particularly the right side of the O-line, was just missing some key blocks on some plays that didn't allow us to establish plays that were there if those blocks were made. And I think that held us back greatly. Runs that went for 0 yards or 1 yard could have easily been 5, 6, 7 yards if a block was made. So we did a lot of self-destruction in that first half, the same way we did in the Seattle game. So we got to clean that up, most definitely.
Becca, what do you think?
Yeah, I do agree. We didn't play our best football in the first half, but also I felt like, they were trying to bring everything and get pressure, on Purdy, and it did cause him to rush them.
No, that's a
Well,
big
Steve
no.
will start in
Steve-O.
trouble.
That is a big no. Timeout. No. Challenge flag right there. No, Steve-O. But yeah, I think we said we had to win the turnover battle, and we had to take control of the time of possession and wear them down. By the fourth quarter, they would be gassed, and we would have our way. We would finally really take command of that game in the fourth quarter, and that's exactly what we saw happen. They were coming off a short rest. We knew they were going to get tired. But I do think, that the turnover game was key. Like we had 2 picks and almost 2 more. So, we had Dak on his heels. The pressure was up there, and it's exactly the game we needed to play. We played what we needed to play. They also came with their A game on Purdy. And, you saw Purdy under pressure and rolling and trying to throw, rolling out and things that he's not comfortable doing. Even the Kittle throw, the bobbly Kittle throw was like it was a poke and a hope toss to Kittle, and credit to Kittle for catching that, because literally that changed the momentum. It really did. But I do agree with Matt about the missed point. I think that got in their head a little bit. Like, now we're going to think about not using our kicker. We have to go for it on 4th down. We have to do these things that we probably shouldn't have to do, because now the kicker is back in his head again. I think that also helped.
George Kittle almost got his head ripped off with that catch.
I know.
If he pulled it in and a second later.
Yeah.
It was amazing. But I want to talk a little Diamador Lenore. 2 weeks in a row with an interception. And like I said earlier, before we went to Kim, the interception was very Dwight Clark-esque as far as how he was in midair.
His form.
But yes, his form. But he's really come into his own, and finally, like, hopefully this weekend he gets another pick. Talk a little bit about the defense, guys. Go ahead.
Well, just picking on the Diamador Lenore interception, I think, they've been trying to target him. A lot of teams have been trying to come at him because he's shown some weakness throughout the season. So now I think, he recognizes and is ready for it. He knows what to look for, and has maybe done some more film study or what have you, and it's really, really coming into his own. So it's like, bring it. If you're going to come after me, I'm ready. I'm ready for you. And he's proving himself to be, I'm not the weakest guy. I'm not the weakest link. So you want to come at me, be prepared. I'm ready. So it definitely shows that he's matured and has really, really put the time and work in to level up his game.
I really don't know why this is a thing. Destroying TVs or burning jerseys. I'll never understand that.
Because it was.
Have you met people?
Year.
Have you just met them? Have you hung out with them for any little bit of time?
My cousins are manic depressant this whole week. They're all Cowboy fans.
Oh, jeez.
Like 5 of them. They haven't spoken to me a word to me all week.
It was their year, remember?
It's always their
Super
year.
Bowl.
I have a friend of mine is a Cowboys fan, and he always says at the beginning, like, "Oh, we're going to the Super Bowl," and I always say, "See, that right there just kind of jinxes you and gives the 49ers the upper hand," and it always works out the same way every year. But I did say, that it was a good game, and he said thanks or whatever, and that was it. So he is talking to me, but I'm trying to double back on the memes a little bit, so because, he gets a little upset on Instagram when I post them. So
I haven't posted any on Facebook just to keep the peace in the family. But yeah, no, Instagram is letting loose. If you're going to come over there, then buyer beware.
Yeah. Go ahead, Maddie.
Oh, whoops.
What?
Did I even have anything? I don't know.
Wait a minute.
Uh-oh.
To me, this is one of the best defenses, really, that this 49ers team has had in the last 8 years. Fun fact, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content, ranging from interviewing legendary athletes to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. And all the while, it's continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and with your help, you and we are ready to take the next step. IESportsRadio.com is the website. The Patreon link is there with 5 different tiers. They start as $5 a month. All sorts of things from podcaster you and to be featured on The Defining Moment, the flagship show. IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Thank you for continuing to make it the #1 destination, and to find out more at iesportsradio.com. Yay, Yamador Lenore. Thank you for doing the things that you need to do. And also, Talanoa Hufunga, thank you for not blowing plays. Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's continue that this week. Let's not have another Quez Watkins ridiculous play like we did last year in week 2. Okay? Let's have that. Let's have that not happen. That's what I want to see this week.
Yes, no blown coverages. Thank you, Maddie, for that. Don't forget to like and subscribe to us, East Coast Red and Gold, as well.
Right.
Trent Williams versus Micah Parsons in pass protection. Amazing.
Was no contest. We talked about like the game just being a heavyweight bout. Well, that was, Mike Tyson versus Leon Spinks or whoever he knocked out in 5 seconds. It was no contest. And it wasn't just Parsons either. It was DeMarcus Lawrence, Wolf Hunter, whoever they put over there. He pitched a shutout on them. Big Trent put on a clinic. I don't know, whatever these sites grade, he should get 100 as a grade for that game.
Well, we
You
can't
should get
go by
bonus points
PFF
for all
because
this
they
crap.
still don't have a photo of Brock Purdy up
I
there.
know. I checked that too.
What if it's like a Christmas story where the teacher goes A++++++, like in Ralphie's
Yeah.
Dream? Like that's what Trent Williams should get for his work.
That's definitely what it should get.
Yeah, he should get that extra credit above the 100% that makes everyone graded, weighted average grade that makes everyone else who didn't do well upset because you're the know-it-all.
Woo.
Moving up in the world. Okay.
And they talk so much crap all week too. And it was just, I don't know. It's amazing. Anything else on this game?
It's their specialty.
It is. They
I'm so
really
glad
do
it's
talk
over.
A lot of crap.
They
Yeah.
chirp,
I am too.
chirp. And then when it's over, thankfully it didn't come down to the refs. I mean, that's the one thing I will say is we didn't want it to come down to some like crappy call. And I thought the one no catch call might have been like the big controversy of whether the ball was caught or, the foot was in or out.
From the
on that
tight
one
end at the
catch,
end.
Right, with the tight end. And I was like, oh, here we go. This will be the excuse of the year why they lost. But, I was very clear that was not a catch. His foot wasn't in. So I was like, okay.
And everyone's on Eric Armstead because he just kind of shoved, Dak Prescott. But, I could see why he did it because the roughing the passer calls. And, we definitely didn't need that to, with who was reffing. But yeah, so anything else?
Yeah, I think the score was close. It was a tight game. I think it was closer than it should have been. I think if we had executed better on both sides of the ball, I think we could have had a more relaxed game. We did not play our A game there on both sides.
And the Ray turnover really
the Ray turnover.
Ooh, I had Kyle Williams flashbacks.
Exactly. And even though, the defense held, they only gave up 3. Yeah. Ray redeemed himself on the next drive, but we didn't even move the ball.
Right.
On that follow-up drive, we saw Dre Greenlaw commit a stupid penalty. He's standing out of bounds. The offensive player is standing out of bounds, and he hits him. Why?
Yeah.
We continuously shot ourselves in the foot through that game, but battled through it. Yeah. But imagine if we didn't. The outcome would have been much different. We'd all been much more relaxed. And, we'd be like, okay, next. So we just got to bring our A game and stop the stupidity.
I think he means running out of bounds and not staying.
Yeah, exactly. That's a prime example. You know?
He should have stayed in bounds to run down the clock rather than running out and stopping the clock. So that's a rookie mistake that Elijah shouldn't have made, and kind of
second year player mistake. Be mindful. Right.
Give them another opportunity with the ball. Luckily, they muffed everything they did. Right.
Well, when before Ray fumbled the ball, I was like, you know what? I'm like, he's due. He's due to return it. And then all of
Yeah.
a sudden that happened. I'm like, oh, come on.
Mhm.
I remember the guy in front of me like turning around to look at me. I'm like, what? I said he was due to return it, not to do that.
We were all saying he was due to break a big one.
break a big
Yeah.
And then
one.
that happened.
And you know what?
Yeah,
In
we
all
didn't need this
honesty, I think he
Amos
still
Lawrence.
is.
Yeah, we didn't need this Amos Lawrence, Kyle Williams PTSD crap. Like,
Yes.
don't need it.
That
It
is
was.
the
Don't want
first
it.
thing that I thought of. I'm like, oh my
Enough.
God.
I had the
Like-
vapors. I was like,
Oh, God.
Oh, the Eric Armstead thing. I want to mention two things about
Go
that.
ahead.
One is the curse of Ahmad Brooks, right? When
Yes.
you got a tall player and a shorter player, and you naturally hit them high. There's always a chance of getting a flag with these refs because they just think you're
Especially
Accidental
with
head to
this
helmet to
crew,
helmet.
because this crew was the Super Bowl
Waiting.
crew in 2019.
Exactly. And and Dak did give him a little pump fake, which might have threw him off. But luckily, Dak wasn't doing anything with the ball anyway, so it didn't hurt us.
yeah.
So just let it go, people. And if had Eric made a play, we would not have gotten that epic last play.
Yeah.
So there's
Eric-
benefits to it.
Bebop Jones, when are you changing your name back? All right, game balls, guys. Maddie, go ahead.
George Kittle, just so I can take it away from you. But honestly, like, he was the glue, right?
Might I add, he was not one of my game balls this week. So
5 catches for
What?
95 yards, saved our A on multiple occasions. George Kittle, period. George Kittle, and I'll go with Diamador Lenore as well. I thought that interception was key. I like to see him, and I like seeing him keep that streak alive.
go ahead, Ty.
Let Rebecca goes out because I always steal from her. So
All right, go ahead,
go.
Rebecca.
So my defensive guy is Fred Warner. I thought he played such an amazing game, and that play with CeeDee Lamb where he denied that pass, down to the end zone. That I thought that was a very key clutch play. But I thought Fred Warner was just all over it the whole game. So he gets my ball on the defense. On the offense, I was giving my ball to Kittle. I thought, the bobble catch and a couple other key catches were really, really, game changers. It changed the momentum. It really, really pushed us forward in a few places. Special teams. I mean, I want to give it to Ray. And on one hand, the fumble was horrifying, but also the big run back that just proved that like we're Teflon. These guys just brush it off and keep going. But Robbie is he's just Mr. Ice Cold. The way he warmed up in this game, the cheerleaders are marching out around him. Robbie's kicking field goals. They're coming down, passing. Robbie's practicing. Robbie's stone cold. He just does his thing and lets nothing get in his way. So it's kind of both of those on special teams. So those are my game balls.
Go ahead, Ty.
Mine offense, Trent Williams. We already spoke about him. He was amazing.
Damn it, I should have went
defense.
before you.
He was my alternate on offense.
Yeah, defense was Fred Warner as well. He just had a great game. And then special teams was Robbie. I mean, we needed those field goals. It was straight down Broadway. Never, I thought that the bad mojo would rub off on him at all. So he was the guy.
My game balls are Fred Warner. I think this was one of his best games of the season. Jimmy Ward also had a solid game, especially, at the end with that tackle. Like it was actually nice to see like a full-blown tackle. And then Trent Williams really, just lights out against whoever came at him, whether it was exactly. Whether it was Parsons or Lawrence, he just had like a really, really great game. All right. It's championship week.
Oh, yeah.
NFC Championship against the Philadelphia Eagles. National media says we don't have a chance. They think that just like Dallas beat the Bucks, we were the Bucks. So Dallas was going to win. Philly beat the Giants, who had their asses handed to them. They can't help us out regardless. So they'll beat us. What do you guys think?
I think it's another low-scoring dogfight. No pun intended, Philly fans. I know that's the sore subject with some of you. But truthfully, at the end of the day, like, this is about a 46-point total, right? And you're talking about two teams that played last year that probably weren't nearly as good as they are right now. They played to about 17-11, right in that vicinity. 49ers are banged up in spots that really are the strengths, right? Like, you really want to attack Philadelphia by dumping to your backs. Maybe to Jawan Jennings is another guy that I think is going to play a key role this week. They have a real tough time against third receivers. So I could see that, or I could see Debo being utilized out of the backfield more in terms of receiving and swing passes. Same thing with McCaffrey, to kind of utilize both of those to get those matchups rolling. To me, I think the matchups that they have offensively matches up well to attack what Philadelphia does not do well. So as long as they're able to protect better than they were last week against Dallas, should be a close one. They should squeak one out, right? But again, there's two things we can't control here. One, the environment, and two, the officiating. I don't know what you're going to get with the officiating. I just don't know. I don't expect anything good. Let's put it that way.
Well, we just can't, let the officiating dictate what we do. We have to, do what we do best. And I think attacking their run defense is the way to go. We have Christian McCaffrey, we have Elijah Mitchell. I'd even like to see Jordan Mason in there.
Yeah.
And just
probably going to have to, with as banged up as those two are right now, right? You got one with a calf and one with a groin. If you're talking about two injuries, I don't care like how much they're treated during the week. The possibility of either one of those getting re-aggravated during the game is pretty high.
Yeah.
So Jordan Mason's going to need to play some solid time this week. And I really think you're going to see a lot of Debo in the backfield this week as well. But he's nursing something with his ankle ever since that high ankle sprain. I still don't think that's 100% either, because he ended up having to leave the field in the first half early, and he was late. He was one of the last ones coming out of the locker room too. I don't think that's because he needs to go to the bathroom. I think he's getting some treatment, right? Some extra stuff going on to get that stuff rolling. So I think that would be something to watch out for. And we'll go from there. And I also think you're going to see a better game from Ayuk in this game. I think Eagles are really good against 1 and 2 receivers, but I think the 49ers can be a little bit better schematically in terms of ways to scheme them open, so that maybe they're being covered by those people that aren't doing a good job on the third receivers or aren't doing a good job on the running back. So I wouldn't be shocked if Ayuk had a big one in this game as well, or a Ray kind of sneak play as well. If you've been waiting for a trick play, I feel like somebody who is not a quarterback is going to throw one this week.
Well, it didn't happen last week. Hopefully it happens this week.
Well, there's only 2 more games left, right? So I'm going to go ahead and call my shot now. This is Babe Ruth at Wrigley back in the 30s. You have to look it up, folks, because it's a long damn time ago. I was
and that was a mere lad.
Right, yeah. I was negative 40 something. So negative 47, I believe. So something to look at there.
I'm also looking for a Trent Williams touchdown. So, which if I was given the opportunity to speak with Kyle Shanahan this past weekend,
he's dialing it in.
I would have told him, but
unfortunately, you got blown off by the security guard from hell. Like, the guy was just so unbelievably.
Who I had a few choice words for.
He was a lovely, lovely individual who took his job entirely too seriously.
Yes.
Oh, I hate those guys.
As if the Niners were the Beatles.
You are not guarding the ATM machine, sir. I promise.
Yes. Steve-O, we definitely can take the crowd out and the officials. And I hope you're going to change your avatar this week to the Eagles helmet.
That's right.
Yes.
31-17. You
I
think
like
they
Wade
win, Brian?
Bryant.
You think?
31?
Come
Like,
on,
that's
Brian.
a lot of points.
That's a lot. I like the way you think, but I'm like,
I'm thinking
ooh.
like 23-19. And by the way, all the Vegas money, all the bets, all the everything is on Philly right now. Like, if you just wanted to follow the money with everything, everybody's on Cincinnati and Philadelphia as a Super Bowl matchup.
Well, that's fine.
Which usually
hopefully
means
that makes us play
one of
better.
them is right and one of them is wrong. You can take that however you want, right? But usually the public, it goes 50-50. They don't usually go 2-0, and they don't usually go 0-2.
Yeah.
So I have a question going back to the Dallas matchup. D'Amico Ryans with his interviews. Do you think that had anything to do with how, like anything in the first half as far as the defense goes?
I don't think so, because a couple of his interviews didn't even take place.
Right.
There was a bunch of he's
think so, too.
gonna interview with Arizona this morning, and he's gonna do whatever. He still has not interviewed with Carolina. There was nothing there, right? Never interviewed with Arizona. So the only two jobs that he's open for are Houston and Denver. And fun fact, at the gate that me and Jess were actually entering into, Jess, who was next to us getting in and getting their passes right at about the same time, and what franchise were they from?
Houston Texans.
Ding, ding, ding. And guess who hasn't announced a head coach yet? The Houston Texans. So they can't really do anything. If they decide they want to hire D'Amico Ryans, they can't do anything until after they're eliminated. My guess is, and there was about 6 of them, and they were definitely from Football Gear and everything else. My guess is they were there to scout D'Amico Ryans. So I'm going to go ahead and guess D'Amico Ryans, unless Sean Payton comes out of nowhere or somebody else decides to go take that Houston job. I think D'Amico Ryans will be your next head coach of the Houston Texans. But that can't be announced until after that stuff's done. I think that's going to be the one he takes it, because there's a tie in there. He's worked there.
Right.
I think. Plus, I feel like they would have had somebody by now if it wasn't going to be him. That's my thought in this process. This is playing out very similar to how Mike McDaniel ended up with the Miami job last year, frankly, to be quite honest with you.
Ty, I'm laughing at you.
The only way I could see them hiring him is just to sell tickets, to be honest with you.
Bro, they need it.
Former player, bring him in. He'll put butts in seats.
I just don't
because
see
of
him
that.
going to a situation like that. Like, I don't care if he's a former player or not.
The situation is
I would hope so. I would totally hope so.
I
It
mean,
seems
let's
like a
say
toxic place to
we
go,
win, but we win on Sunday, right? We advance to the Super Bowl. We get our 6th ring. You honestly think, like, obviously that's in the future, but like, I really don't see him going to Houston. I mean, for the past few months now, I've kind of predicted like he's going to stay. I mean, whether or not I'm right, like, who knows? But I just don't.
It's either Houston or back here. Like, as far as that's where I'm at. I don't think he's going to go to Denver, because Denver just had the whole thing with they hired a coordinator and it went swimmingly. So my guess is they're going to hire like Dan Quinn or somebody like that, right? I think Dan Quinn's probably their speed guy. They need a defensive guy, and then they can hire the Bevel dude to try and fix Wilson. That's going to be their plan. They're going to try to remake the Pacific Northwest Marshawn Lynch era, Legion of Boom era down in Denver. They're going to do like the poor man's version of it. That's what they're going to try to do. And you can tell that that's what they're going to do, right? So that's why that's to me. And like I said, when you roll around, and I believe he's got that second interview already, and then you go with the fact that you've got 6 folks rolling into a playoff game when there's not unless all 6 of those Houston Texans guys are there to look at free agent players. It just seems odd to me. There was a whole lot of folks hanging around, a whole lot of things, and you saw a whole lot of people on the field, but 6 members of the Houston Texans organization.
Did they really need to go to the game for that? Like, you can't just watch it on TV?
exactly.
Do you think maybe they talked to him after, right?
Probably
Like,
that.
I can't imagine they just snuck in and flew out, right? That's a lot of people.
If you're the Houston Brass, you're not going to watch it on TV and then go.
That's true.
You're coming to the game at least, right?
Because
So-
there's that part of me that's like, I want him to stay, so that's why I'm
Yes,
like,
I would like him
right.
to stay too. Okay, I would really like to be optimistic, but I
Right.
also understand that if they offer him this job, he's probably going to take it unless he's so like disgusted by something that happened in the interview that he's like, hard pass, dog. No, thank you. Like, nope. Thanks, Cal, but no thanks. Right? Like,
I
but
don't think he takes it.
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah,
Fingers
it would have
crossed.
to be the magic dust of like Sean Payton or somebody coming out. I agree, Matt. Like it would have to be sprinkle that kind of like, wow, we can pick him up too. So we'll take this.
Well,
guy.
we need that candlestick dirt. We need that,
I will go shake the candlestick.
Yeah.
Lucky
dirt.
socks, man. I wore the socks the other day to the game. That worked because I forgot my jersey, but I remembered my socks.
I wore my socks too.
So, there you go.
Of all things that he forgets, he forgot his jersey for one of his jerseys for the game.
Wow.
I forgot any of my and then my son decided not to wear his jersey. He decided to wear a shirt, which was totally fine. And then he wore his chains, and he had the best time fist bumping people at the end of the game because and high fiving because he was
I never wear
very
jerseys.
concerned.
I never wear a jersey to the game. I take them just so, like, maybe Patrick, I will meet him in the grocery store and I can ask him to marry me. But I never wear them to the game.
Yeah, I always wear game day. I always wear a jersey. Always.
I haven't shaved this beard since the Chargers game.
I was going to say 1997.
It's been I'm talking like even the neck stuff, right? Like all of the only thing I've done is taking care of the stuff above the lip because, well, frankly, I'd like to eat.
Yeah.
So but all of this, like, I was looking back and watching the Americas thing where Tom Rathman had to after they beat the Bengals in the second Super Bowl, he went and he shaved his beard off. He's like, all right, I'm done. I don't need to have this thing anymore. It's the off season. That's what I feel like. Like as soon as they win this thing, I could finally shave the stuff around it. So it'll be good.
I feel like
I don't
Kyle
think this
does
is going
that
anywhere.
too.
You think so? I think that's what. Yeah, but he's only got just that mild stubble. Like he doesn't have some sort of lumberjack beard going. So if he's been growing that for a long time, bless his heart, right? Like great effort.
I feel like his is just like, I'm just going to be lazy because I spent 3 days in a row watching film and not
That's possible.
Sleeping on his office couch. Yes, correct.
Yeah. So he's pulling the hobo card and just rolling with it.
So, X factors on offense. Go ahead, Ty.
I want to say Ray. I can see Ray getting in there, making some plays, whether it be a jet sweep. I think it's a perfect game for him to pull off a jet sweep. Like Matt said, line Debo up in the backfield, let him be a decoy, bring Ray across, do a slick handoff for the ball to him, let him, go up the sideline or catch some passes. I see him be an X factor. But to be honest, I think we just need to run the ball. Like even against Dallas, the way we took control of the game is by running the ball. And even though it wasn't, we didn't see the big chunk plays that we've been seeing, it's been more 3 yards in a cloud of dust, but that helped establish something that got the offense moving and set up some play action plays. So just keep at it.
Becca?
I read a statistic that Philly is 27th in offense when a play gets off under 30 seconds. They are 4th if it lingers past 30 seconds. We are one of the slowest offenses to get a play off because of all the maneuvering we do. Philly's good at adjusting to that. So I think for this game, the X factor is if we can adjust our offense to get our plays off in a faster fashion and not give them time to adjust to our looks that we're throwing. I think that is one of the key statistics that I saw in the losses that Philly had were against fast offenses. And that was one of the things that they were pointing out that contrasted our offensive style versus their Philly's defensive success. and the teams that are good against Philadelphia. So I think that's a big X factor, is whether or not we can translate our style of play to something that's a little more fast paced than we're used to. And maybe that will help get them off balance and open up lanes and just throw them off their game. So I think that might be a big key to success.
I think we can do that because we did do that a few times against Dallas. But we'll see.
Yeah, it's definitely a change, because we like to eat up clock. We like to of course, control that time of possession, and that's also a big factor in any game. But I thought that was a pretty stark contrast, that when plays are under 30 seconds, they're 27th on defense. When they take longer than 37th, Philadelphia's defense is pretty good at adjusting, and they're 4th.
I think my X factor on offense has to be Kyle Shanahan. Like we mentioned earlier, the Eagles' run defense is a bit weak, and Kyle likes to run the ball. We got to run the ball, keep running, run it again and again. But yeah, his play calling is definitely going to be the key to this game, and just getting Brock comfortable. Brock still, I feel, had some nerves against Dallas. But then all of a sudden, second half, he was fine, but he made the key throws that he needed to make. And we need that Brock again, obviously for 2 more games. And I feel that we'll get him, but Kyle Shanahan definitely is the X factor here. Maddie, what about you?
Screen game was non-existent and horrific against Dallas, and to me, that's a staple of this offense. When this offense is running well, the screen game is going well. I think Philly is susceptible to the screen, mainly because they're susceptible to the third wide receiver as well. So I would like to see some pretty unique screens, maybe to Juice, maybe to Kittle. Hell, maybe even some fake ones to Tyler Kroft or somebody like that, right? Somebody that you're just like, oh man, who the hell else would you like? And then they rumble for 40 yards or something, right? Like one of those Kyle pulls it out sort of plays. But I think you can kill this team with screens. And going back to what Beck said, 100%, man, pick up the fucking pace. Let's go. Get the play in. Stop this crap. Dude, this whole thing that happened in Miami and Buffalo a couple of weeks ago, I was having PTSD to every 49ers game that I've been watching over the last few years, because so many times, tick, 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 tick. You saw that a lot with Jimmy. Like, how in the hell does he not know who's not, either he's not getting the play, he's not hearing the play, or he's taking forever. I don't know what's going on, but let's move with some sort of sense of urgency. If they do that on offense, I think they can keep that Philadelphia defense off balance, and I think they can change the tempo of the game, right? And then use your offense to keep your defense off the field. I think this is going to be one of those games where you really need your defense fresh in the second half, because if you do get up in the first half, Philly's going to throw the kitchen sink at you in the second half to get out of there. So you're going to have to survive it. And that's the best way to do that. Keep them off the field. Convert your third downs, or convert your second downs for first downs, right? Don't get to third down.
Right.
First and second. Boom, boom, boom. Right?
That's key right there.
And you don't just have to run bootlegs all the time. There are other plays other than bootlegs that can be effective, and they're a little bit quicker, and you can do some more things off of them. So I like the bootleg once in a while, but I think this is not a defense that you're going to be running a ton of bootlegs on. I think it's going to be some quick screens, maybe some double pumps, double moves, and things of that nature. I don't think it's going to be a big scoring game. Like I said, I think this is going to be a low scoring. Whoever hits 21st wins this football game.
Yes. And you're right, Matt. I also saw statistically they suck with defending backs out of the backfield. Like the dink and dunk thing, that they're terrible at defending that. So if we get a faster pace going where we're just like out there, Debo, Christian, just throwing everybody, use check everybody at them. I think that's a key to success. Keep it fast, keep it moving, and dink and dunk all day on them with all of our Swiss Army knife of just everyone, Kittle and the rest of them.
I mean, Purdy
No.
Purdy doesn't have to do anything fascinating.
Extraordinary, right?
You know, just put the ball where our playmakers can get it and let them do the rest.
Absolutely.
I've been saying it all year. That's the offense. All
Yep.
the quarterback has to do is the old KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. Just put the ball to the open man. They'll do the rest. Trust me.
The old
We've seen
Sherm
it.
Douglas. You don't have to throw it. You just have to dish it, right? That's really what
Mhm.
it boils down to. And he just needs to dish it to people.
And
Now,
they suck against the Yak too. They're not great against the Yak.
Yes.
Defensively, what this team needs to do is contain Jalen Hurts. He is their most important runner, and they are not going to run any of their running backs against us. Everybody's going to talk about it all week. They're going to talk about Miles Sanders and Gainwell and Boston Scott. But here's the thing. They only seem to run against the Giants. I don't know why that is, but that's just what they do. It's just one of those deals.
You're going to look at what Mariota did and try and copy that whole game plan, because Mariota, we made him look like a stud. We made him look like Mahomes.
Made him look like a Hall of Famer.
We really did. And
I
they
think
were
we're gonna
gassed
try
that
and
week and beat up,
all
and
of
they
that.
weren't.
I
they
think
were not.
seven of our starters were out of that game.
Yeah, and that was
Think how
that
thin
second
the D-line
half
was
of
that game.
road game, and it was a nightmare. That was just a bad catch, right? But the thing is, if you go back and watch the Seattle game, you go back and watch the Dallas game, they did allow some runs to Dak and Geno that are like, okay, well, if that's Jalen Hurts, I feel like Jalen Hurts can run a little better than those two, right? It's not that they're not mobile, but they're definitely not Jalen Hurts. That's the key to me. Keeping him from converting those 3rd and longs when you've got everything rolling, and then you flush him up into the middle, and surprise, nobody's there, and he just slides up for a 16-yard chunk, and then you got to start all over again. Those are so demoralizing for that defense. I would really like to see them keep him in check in some form or fashion. That's probably going to mean that there's going to be a lot of one-on-one on the outside. So you better get to him, or you better affect his throws to people so that he's not just able to play pick and dump all day with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith.
Yeah, I feel like the X factor there is going to be whoever's the spy or, covering, keeping an eye on Jalen Hurts. He's got to be stopped. He has to be kept in check. And the more pressure we can get on him, that bodes well for us. He's going to either try to take off with his legs. And if we have people who are going to be required to cover him and keep him from making big plays, and we keep our guys in man-to-man where he doesn't have anybody to dump it to, then that's going to be good for us.
Yeah, for me, is the defensive ends just have to stay disciplined and not come crashing in, or else they're going to run that read option. He's going to run right around them. When they do call run plays for him, it's to the outside. He does not run up the middle. They don't want him running up the middle unless it's near the goal line. And that's when they'll take advantage of his strength and things to run them in through the middle, try to get a touchdown. But other than that, it's to the outsides. And since we don't really spy defensively, that means that the defensive ends have to stay disciplined and not allow that outside run lane for him. In the past game, the safeties just got to get back. Whoever's playing that deep safety just needs to get back. Make sure they help out over the top, because they're going to try to test us vertically.
Yep.
So the safety just needs to get back and help out. Don't be out of position. Don't show up late and watch. Actually get back and do something on the play.
Turning your head while the play's going on.
Yeah.
Turn around and look at the ball. That's a thing.
Exactly.
If you do that, you can
Simple
avoid a
things.
penalty, right?
Simple things.
And Nick Bosa even said that they pretty much have to stay in their lanes, because they gave too many open lanes against the Raiders, and they literally have to stay in their lane. So they know what to do. It's just a matter of
execution.
Right.
Like I said, that Dallas game, if you look at it, it came down to execution. We shot ourselves in the foot doing dumb things,
and still managed to win.
And still managed to win, though. That's the key thing. That's why I said, it shouldn't have been as close as it was.
No,
Previous
We
years we
played
don't win
our
that.
game.
Previous years don't win that football game. Lose by 3. Lose on a last-second field goal, and we're just sitting here today saying, "How is the season over?
Right.
How are the Cowboys in the NFC title game?"
Yep.
And we're just
Yeah.
completely like mind blown.
but
But
here we
no,
are.
they just rolled through it. This is not your father's. Okay, this is not your older
It's
brother's.
not 5 years
49ers. How
ago,
about
Steve.
that?
It's not
Yeah,
3
right,
years
yeah.
ago.
This is
This is
this
not
isn't
your
your
Jim Tom
yeah,
Sula
this is
49ers.
yeah, this isn't your uncle's team. This isn't your Dennis Erickson, Mike Nolan 49ers.
That's right.
Right.
But here we are in the NFC Championship game
Again.
Jazz hands.
again, getting ready to steamroll the Eagles. I hope.
Wow, steamroll. That's a very
Steamroll.
confident.
That's right.
They, like I said, if
I
they win
like
by
it.
more than
Don't
4,
get me wrong.
I will be stunned.
I am nervous, just like I was for the Seahawks game, just like I was for the the Dallas game. I am nervous, but I have the confidence in this team because I really feel that this is something
too.
special about this year. What's up, Ryan?
Yep.
They are absolutely a unit. They are a cohesive unit in a way that we haven't seen in a while. Absolutely.
Yeah, they're very tight. As I'm not saying that they've never been tight, they've never been a brotherhood, but there's just something about this team that just complete brotherhood. Just
they're happy for each other. I
Yeah.
mean, I saw the Debo clip where Kittle's having a game. He comes running over. He's like, "You were having a game today, man." Yeah, like he's so happy for him. Like, and not being pissy and like, it's not me. I'm not having the game today. And you are. And he's just like glowing that Kittle made the catch. And it just really, really translated into a big play for us that we needed. And you can just see that, like, they're all happy and excited when everyone does something well. It's really fun to watch because you don't really feel any stress or animosity with the team. It's really, I think, like one of these beautiful teams that are coming together that are special.
yeah, and it's not just the offense, chilling with the offense and defense with the defense. Like it's a whole team cohesion, if you will. Anything else?
I don't like this Charleston Menahue thing at all. Like
No.
this whole distraction. I don't care what happened. Like it's not as you read things or whatever, and it's not as crazy as some of the other stuff that you see out there. But it's just a bad look, no matter what happened. So I hope that all works out the way it's supposed to, and does not cause any sort of necessary distraction. I hope everybody's okay. I hope everybody's okay mentally, because that's a big deal. So really hope that's not a sign. I hope this is just some sort of blip on the radar. According to the press conference today, Kyle said that there were other people that looked at it and they didn't.
They feel comfortable.
They even said like they're not
enough.
going to kick him off the team. So,
Right.
and I feel like this is a franchise that kind of has one of those zero tolerance deals. Like I don't.
Yeah.
I think if there was something here that they were disturbed about, they wouldn't have hesitated to put him on the street. So
agree.
I'm going to have some faith in that and let everything play out. But I just hate having to talk about it, right? But here it is, NFC Championship week, and the guy that we saw eating right at the hotel with his family last week
Yes.
has a
And
freaking
he
mugshot.
walked by me and I said, "Good luck tomorrow." And he was very nice and said, "Thank you." It was very bizarre. But yeah, Kyle said
so bizarre.
Kyle did say that they were comfortable enough that, we're not going to kick them off the team. Yeah. So
I mean, we did talk about that a little bit, a couple days ago when it hit. Yeah. That, the knee-jerk reactions we've seen, the overreaction, and that's not translated well either, where teams just, cut somebody and then it turns out that charges are dropped and there's more to the story. So I do think that they take the more cautious approach of wait and see.
They did their due diligence, and that's something that the Niners do with everything across the board, whether it's the draft, whether it's free agency, situations like this, they always do their due diligence.
But it is unfortunate.
I think they learned from some of the other ones too, right? The Alden Smiths, the things like that, right? Like there's varying levels, right? And there's probably so many different deals that you've got to compare it to. So good for them to do whatever. And like I said, hopefully everything plays out the way it's supposed to and everybody's okay.
And I think Jed York has learned a lot as well.
Well, because there's been a number of controversial things that have happened, and you watch them all play out. I mean, even players that have gotten cut get picked up somewhere else because ultimately charges get dropped, and then you're out a number one, first round draft pick that if you had waited and taken some time and let it play out, you would still have your player and maybe could have supported him, with some counseling and some other things rather than
Right.
cut them and put it in a more stressful situation. So I think you're right, Jess, that they've learned that, there's better ways to approach this. And I mean, in talking with parents at the hotel, they talk about how wonderful the Niner organization is with mental health support and the financial counseling and all the different areas of support that they give the players as rookies coming onto the team. So I think that maybe they have learned that we do have to support them in more than just football, and hopefully that's something we're seeing translate into the team, because we haven't had these kinds of issues, in a few years, probably 4 or 5 now.
Yeah.
So I think that might be, he's just now an outlier.
Right.
Well, look at the way they jumped to support Richard Sherman well after his, he had multiple
Mhm.
chances to come back to the organization, right?
Yeah.
They didn't sign him, but still when that thing happened, they were one of the first ones to be like, yo, if you need help, we got you. Like,
Yeah.
that's what you want to see. So, if you're playing for that organization or if you're on the fence about where to sign, right? And this is something that kind of goes back to what you were talking about earlier, Ty, right? About what we're all talking about. Do you really want to go to the Houston Texans? You got to sit down, you got to recruit, you got to get somebody amped up. And it comes down to the Texans and the 49ers. And you're like, man, I feel like the 49ers are going to take care of me. The Texans going to take care of me, or are they going to just say they're going to take care of me?
Right.
Right.
So, I think there are organizations around the league that will definitely take care of you. And I think there are other organizations around the league that will take care of you the same way that they take care of horses that break legs. So it's kind of one of those deals. So you kind of have to decide between all of them which way it's going to go. Right. So it's one of those things that you got to keep in mind. And I think that's something that's carried over from the Eddie D era and will continue to carry over. I think this team goes above and beyond on that stuff. They're kind of shot in the knee with some different things. They can't control state income tax. They can't control this. They can't control that. But they certainly can't control the cost of housing in the Bay Area. But they can control, how they treat their players and the relationship with them. And if they have that amount of value in there and you get people in there that love to play football and love to play for each other, you're going to do all right. And so far you've seen the results. Just hasn't yielded that Lombardi quite yet. Feel like they're on the right path though.
Well
I mean,
said.
even fan engagement. I mean, I have season ticket holder friends for the Giants, and I know season ticket holders for the Eagles. None of these organizations do what the Niners do, and they're always so impressed at how much the team does with fan engagement and encouraging it and supporting our tailgates and things like that. So we see it from the fan side, the engagement side there, that these people don't even know who their reps are for their season tickets, and how to even get access to the field passes or what have you at home games. I'm like, call your rep, and they're like, I don't even know who that is. I'm like, what?
Not everybody's like us.
Like, wow, we're like blessed to have this great organization who really wants the fans there and really wants you traveling. They want to help you when you're traveling and putting on a tailgate party and any sort of thing, especially in the away cities where they're not doing an invasion. They do try to support that. So you see the contrast. So I do think that it does matter where you go. Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, one thing we've learned this season from just our discussions and talking with our guests is that the organization cares for you as a person.
Yes.
Whether you are a fan, you work for the team, or you play for the team, they care for you as a person, and they want you to have the best experience, the best life, the best whatever. And if they can help with that, they will. And that's what makes it special.
It does. And diversity matters too. Like you've heard female, beat reporters, photographers, people who are
Dr.
in
Edwards.
the organization in all facets, and they all talk about the same thing about how wonderful the organization is to everybody. It's really, really special. So we are in good hands with our team. I think they're a great organization. So good.
Yes, we are. Well, if nothing else, how about we do that hurry up offense and the 2-minute warning?
Let's go.
Do it.
Rebecca,
Let's
start us
do
We
off.
should do the hurry up offense and show the 49ers how to do it. Okay, go.
So I get to start.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Happy birthday to my future husband, Patrick.
Damn it, you stole mine.
Why do you think it's hanging? The love of my life, Patrick. Happy birthday, honey. Go Niners. Thank you, Kim, for coming on the show. You have just such a cool, unique perspective on everything. And I thought it was just fun and fascinating. So thanks, Kim, for being part of our show. And see everyone in Philly. Let's go. Let's get this. We're going to Philly. We're going to take on the Eagles. Go Niners.
Thank you again, Kim, for coming on the show. We really appreciate it. Congratulations to Brock Purdy for being finalist for Rookie of the Year. Coach Shanahan for being finalist for Coach of the Year. Nick Bosa for being finalist for Defensive Player of the Year. And CMC for being finalist for Comeback Player of the Year. Congratulations, you guys. You guys deserve it. Hopefully you guys win it. But there's more important things on the horizon. We got the NFC Championship game. And hopefully we got the Super Bowl to bring home that number 6. Let's go Niners. Let's start fast on Sunday. Let's send these dirty birds packing. Let's go.
I would say shout out to Kim Possible. You are small, you are aggressive, and you are awesome. Thank you so much for coming on. Happy birthday to my man, Pat Willis, 52. I see you. I'm still flexing my chicken wings to this day. Crash and burn Eagles. Go Niners.
The one thing that I want to point out, if you do go to this game on Sunday, when you go in, just remember, no matter what, we all hate the Eagles and Cowboys, okay? And if we can't unite over that, then we can't unite over anything.
And there you have it.
That's what I got for you. That's what I got.
Let's go.
All right, let's
Bang,
have fun. See
bang.
everybody next week. Bang, bang, Niner gang.
See you next week.
And of course, for the upstart 49ers, they're 6 yards away from Pontiac. 3rd and 3.
We'll see a pickup sometime on the right side, possibly.
Montana looking.